Now, let's talk about women's football now. Super Falcons were involved in the friendly game against Cameroon. Yes, it's a friendly game as we prepare for a WAFCON tournament that we are not even sure will still happen this March because we're a few weeks away to the kickoff of that tournament. But we're hearing conflicting reports that the tournament has been postponed. Morocco will not be hosting. South Africa will host. Nothing confirmed yet. But what was confirmed so far is that Nigeria played against Cameroon yesterday, and they lost in the first leg of that friendly game right there in Yaoundé. Talking about Mbomezomo Yvana scoring the stoppage-time winner in favor of Cameroon. What's your take on that game? Of course, we cannot judge the players. It is a friendly game, a trial for new players and returning players into the Super Falcons fold.
Well, honestly, Doka, taking a look at the preparation, I mean, we played Cameroon the last time before we went for the World Cup, but at that time they came down here to Nigeria, and taking on Cameroon again this time, and them losing the first leg, I would say, well, it's a good preparation. I mean, let's take a look at the squad. Like you mentioned, we have new players that have joined the squad, and the introduction of some old players that people are actually talking so much about, we shouldn't have old players like that on the team. I think it's a good blend because we need the experience. We need to, take advantage of all the talents we've got. The likes of Ngozi Okobi coming back, after giving birth, and Gift Monday also back on the team is also a booster to the team. Yes, conversations will always happen, and I think this is a good way to try to blend in those players that have been missing in the squad for a while now. And I saw that they played really well. I mean, the goal that Cameroon scored against Nigeria came in the 90th minute. That's to tell you how much these ladies are trying their best to probably synergize. They didn't have that much time, and if we'll be very frank, I think they should, after this, probably get opportunity to play more. But with the way the information has been, been circulating about the WAFCON tournament, well, we don't know what will happen in the coming days. It's just 16 minutes, 16 more days to the tournament from what it was supposed to be. The previous date that was fixed. But let's see how it goes. But for me, I would say the girls would do really well. They would do really well in the second, phase of this friendly. I think that would help us to understand the game plan of the coach as it is.
Right. So talking about the WAFCON proper now, the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, what do you think? How do you think this will affect the players? Because they must have seen this news on social media that the tournament has been postponed, but there's no official release from CAF yet saying this or that, either denying or accepting the information. What do you think this will do to the players going forward, especially after the second leg of the friendly game and also the other countries participating in the tournament?
Honestly, I would say this will destabilize the players. It will destabilize the players because they've prepared for this. They left their clubs, with the mind of, when we get here after our friendlies, this is a way for us to prepare, for this tournament. And with this happening, it's so much uncertainty. I feel that, the silence from CAF, it's so deafening. They need to come out and say something so that if these players have to go back, some of these players probably have playoffs in their respective clubs, and having the opportunity to come and represent their country and not being able to do so, it's, disturbing because they are leaving opportunities for other players to, take their spots in their respective, clubs wherever they're coming from. So I think CAF needs to come out and, say something on time because this is really, really unsettling. It will actually, bring some, division, kind of like a debate, among these players. Should I have, should I have not? Should I have taken the opportunity or not? I mean, CAF should really come out and say something. I feel it's not fair to the players. It's really not fair. If they knew that the tournament wasn't going to hold, they should have just said so. I mean, we heard about reports some weeks back from South Africa, and the CAF president actually came out about 2 weeks ago to affirm that Morocco was still going to host. So I think that kind of like gave an assurance, to these players. And right now, what's happening is really not fair to the players at all. It's not.
Right. So let's look at the journalist point of view now. As of now, if Morocco will host this tournament, media accreditation is not out yet. Of course, we know the draws has been made. Media accreditation isn't out yet. Teams are preparing for this one. Nobody even knows when the information will be passed for journalists to start planning their travels, how many days they will stay in Morocco or not. This will also not just affect the players, it affects journalists who are traveling as well, because some of them must have actually booked their flights long before now, just to have cheaper flights.
I really feel sorry for the journalists. When you were saying players, players are already, in camp, they're already, playing their friendlies, but the journalists aspect is really, really, sad, because some journalists, like you rightly pointed out, have already made arrangements. Some have decided, they've taken, should I say, a leave, or should I say, some level of, excuse from their office. Let me take this from you. The way we do these things. So maybe somebody has got that time and you say, let me use your opportunity. And then when it's my turn, you take it. And they've made arrangements for this. And suddenly this has, just gone under the bridge. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. And like you just said, some have already booked their ticket. The accreditation part, though, is quite interesting. Look at your accreditation part is quite interesting, because accreditation comes out at least a month before the tournament.
Yeah.
And while, we're still counting, it's just 16 days. If we're still going by the date that was set, it will be 16 days now, or 15 days to the tournament, right? And no accreditation for journalists. So it won't be fair to the journalists at all if they, CAF comes up tomorrow to say, you know what, we're going to push it to a later date, or it starts immediately. How do they sort this out? Because it means they have to rush. I remember the last edition, there was issue of, issuing visas because of some issues, as well. So, I mean, they should try to make this as seamless as possible. Even the AFCON also had similar issues, where people were finding it difficult to even get their visas. Some people didn't get their accreditation on time. I mean, it's 16 days to go and get no accreditation for journalists. So this is going to be really, really tough. It's not going to make it easy for journalists to plan, to cover this tournament. I don't know if they don't want the visibility, because honestly speaking, there's so much silence, about the tournament. It's just so silent. There's no publicity, nothing. So that alone is enough for you to, think, I think they're probably going to postpone this tournament. And we don't know what's really happening. I don't think CAF is handling this well at all. I don't think so.
All right. We look forward and hope that CAF would give us audience and tell us exactly what is going on with the hosting of the Women Africa Cup of Nations 2026 that is supposed to happen in Morocco. Thank you very much, Itoro Jimmy, for joining us today. Interesting conversation, and always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.